Hello! In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of my favorites and have I been using them. So if you want to hear more about that, then please keep watching. My name's Alyssa. If you haven't seen my videos before, I like to do lots of panning projects and talking about my makeup collection, which isn't very big compared to most people on here, but I think it's the perfect size for me. And I'm constantly trying to use the products in a way that is both fun for me, but also making sure I'm not neglecting things. And I was inspired by another YouTuber on here called Stephanie, and she was talking about, different favorites expiring because she's been using her least favorite products, or not quite as loved products instead, and kind of saving these favorites for I don't know, what are we saving them for? And that's kind of the problem here. So that inspired me to look at my collection and think about what are my favorites and have I been using them? And I realized in some of my different eyeshadow palettes, for example, I was making myself use the shades I didn't like as much. And, here I'm thinking, I really love this one pink eyeshadow. And it wasn't getting the uses in. And, but if you'd ask me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've probably used it, 100 times. And it's like, no, it's not really happening like that. So I'm going to be showing you on the screen, you'll see where I was pulling back out the different palettes I talked about and different shades from that last video, which I will also link that previous video. So some were eyeshadow palettes, some were some blushes, some were products from Danessa Myricks that they're like a newer favorite, but I was still kind of thinking of them as like the special thing that I should save. What else? Yeah, I guess it was kind of mostly those things. And, I did learn a few things from having myself use these. Well, for starters, doing that first video made it so that when I've been picking products for other panning projects and all, I've been trying to pick actually some of my favorites and not just leaving them, to expire. So, I will say I can kind of flip through my book and show you, the Danessa Myricks products. I've used them. I have one that's been, going on recently, and both of them have been used different times, and it really has been nice because before, like with the Chrome Flakes, it would be like, oh no, I shouldn't use it. It's kind of a special thing. I don't want to use it all up. But I've realized in using it that it's starting to, maybe dry out a little bit. I know those don't last very long. And every time I do use it, it's always so fun. And it's also like, oh, well, I have to use it because it's in a project right now and I'm supposed to use it, 10 times. So may as well, this could be another look to put on the, add a tally. So yeah, I'm really glad that I've been making myself use these things. The blushes, you'll see I finished one blush and I've expanded the pan on the other two shades. I will say when I was thinking back, about this video, and I was looking through it, it's like, what were the different items I marked as my favorites? I'm like, I kind of actually forgot about the blushes because right now I'm kind of doing that thing again where I'm using some of my lesser favorites. So, I brought them back in. For the eyeshadows, I feel like I have been, I completed my different uses and all, and I feel like I've been doing a good job. The bad news is that I started another kind of thing where I'm trying to make looks with my different palettes. One of the eyeshadow shades from this palette is in my Expand Those Pans project. I've used it 3 times and unfortunately I'm calling it done. Not because I used it up, but because it just doesn't work as well. And I noticed that with, so the purple shade was one I'd marked as a favorite, and I used that in Expand Those Pans as well. And I'm like, I don't know, it seemed okay, but I'm like, maybe I just forgot, maybe I thought it was better than it was. But after kind of also using this, and this one at least had some shine before. It wasn't a favorite, but it was like, you know, okay. But it just kind of came off not even as a satin, but more like a matte eyeshadow. And then this pink that was a favorite, it's still okay, but I wouldn't count it as a favorite anymore now next to some of my other pink shiny eyeshadows that I've gotten. So it makes me feel a little better because originally I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do when this palette is done because I don't have anything else like that. But, you know, it's okay. You can definitely tell I've had lots of use for this palette over the years. But yeah, I am officially retiring this palette. I will not be using it on my eyes anymore. So, you know, I could still use it as nail polish and things like that. So I'm not throwing it out. But yep, so this one's gonna be done. So it's a little sad that, you know, something that was a favorite didn't get used all the way up, but that is something that happens. My Dollhouse palette is new to me this year. It definitely has a lot more love showing on it than, you know, when I was first showing it in the previous video. So, you know, I'm not shying away from using it. My eyeshadow today, I actually used one of the shades from it just because I had it there, and I'm like, you know what? You know, I needed like something that was a little lighter for blending, but still had a little color to it. So I used one of those. And, you know, previously I might have been like, oh, well, no, maybe I can just make do with some of these other shadows. I was like, no, like I bought these, let me use them. One of the questions I brought up in the first video was I have these different older items and I bought new ones to kind of replace for when those were going bad. And it's like, well, what do I do? Because the ones that were getting older were not, you know, they're not like this magic palette where it's expired now, I would say. They're just, you know, maybe not quite as good. And I went ahead and retired actually a bunch of them. And I am just kind of using more of the new stuff and moving on. And I think that using the new stuff makes it, just like I said about that pink shade, that I'm not as, you know, sad to say goodbye to some of these, you know, previous favorites, because now I have some new favorites, you know, and I think it is the right time because they're definitely, like the one Persona palette I have is, it might be 6 years old or something like that. I bought it at Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale for half off. I don't know when that was exactly. I know it was like a springtime thing, but I don't remember what year. You know, so these are definitely past their time and it's okay. So I will try to keep going with using my new items and older favorites too and putting them into my projects. Maybe next year, since we're kind of near the end of this year, but I feel like maybe next year I could try to film another video where I talk about my current favorites at that time, because it might change, you know, in like, let's say like 6 months or something. See where I'm at, and am I using my new items still? Am I using things, or is kind of saving them as favorites, you know, that are not to be used? So that's where I'm at for today. I hope this video was interesting. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment about what are your favorites that you are either using or not using. And until the next video, I hope that you'll be doing well. And thank you for watching this one. Until then, bye.